Hello there, Commonwealth from here, and after the reveal of Star Fox, this could be the first taste of more remakes to come. Roger, is Ocarina of Time Remake the thing that is opening this Nintendo Direct? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, I don't know necessarily if Ocarina specifically is the opener, but I do think this Direct opens with a 40th anniversary kind of segment because of how long it's been since that last major Direct, and because that Direct opened with the Mario 40th segment, right? Where we had like the announcement that the movie was going to be Mario Galaxy, the re-release of Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I do think we're going to probably see something similar here with Zelda. I think it really depends on whether or not they have another major closer. But I think if they really just want to open with a big Zelda segment, I think we are definitely going to get Zelda movie news in this. I also think this is a good opportunity to do like a fun little NSO shadow drop. You know, one of the big things that a lot of people have been asking for on NSO is the ability to play Four Swords Adventures. They're probably going to hold off on Twilight Princess on GameCube NSO for an eventual potential like Wii NSO type deal, just because obviously that game was a launch title for the Wii. It did come out on GameCube. A lot of people played it on GameCube. Maybe they'll put that on NSO, but I do think at least one Zelda NSO drop, movie news, and then depending on whether or not they have the closer, the Ocarina Remake during this segment as well.
Yeah, because the rumor about Ocarina Remake is holiday. That's at least what Nathan Hater said, and it makes sense. November is empty with no Pokemon. But Joey, what do you think about how this should look?
It's so tough for me to even think about that, right? Like, because if I think of something that's like how Star Fox looks, where it's like, I wouldn't even say Star Fox is hyper-realism. There's like an element of cartoonish vibes to that game, even if they're trying to make it look a little more realistic. But I don't know if I think that Ocarina of Time should look like that, because I also feel like the cutscenes in Star Fox, at least, they kind of look a little rough around the edges still. With Ocarina, I want to hope that that game looks a little smoother. I think it is going to go a little more for the realism, though, because that was kind of the goal of the original Ocarina of Time on Nintendo 64. I don't think it's going to look like hyper-realistic either, not like Red Dead Redemption 2 or anything. It's still going to have that Legend of Zelda style to it, and I do think it is going to be like the level layouts are going to be the same and such. Like maybe there will be some differences there, so I don't want to say it's going to look like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but it's going to have like a touch of realism to it. I really am not going to know for sure until we finally see what this game looks like. Hopefully we'll have a better reaction than most of us did to the Star Fox character designs, you know.
But then who is developing Ocarina of Time Remake? Depending on the studio, we can end up with completely different visuals for Ocarina Remake as well. Because there has been the rumor of, again, Monolith Soft developing, and we know that they are known for their more gritty, also realistic styles for the different Xenoblade games, though it has differed a little bit, with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 being a very good example of more vibrant, very close to Breath of the Wild anime. In many ways, when it comes to the art style for Ocarina, I feel like we can go in two different directions. Realistic direction, and the other is heading towards Wind Waker. And personally, I think with this project, you have to go into that more right side. But what do you think, Roger, about the visuals?
I always kind of like when they take risks. I mean, I was somebody who liked Wind Waker. Even when they first announced Wind Waker, I was like, this is awesome and different and cool. I do think because Ocarina is so iconic that they do have to be really careful. But I also think so much of Ocarina and its role in the zeitgeist basically over the course of the last like 20 years has been that original art that was used in like, you know, the player's guides and in that original booklet. Like there's a very clear kind of anime style to the characters in Ocarina of Time in that original 2D artwork that I almost wonder if they take this opportunity to try to translate that into, you know, HD. Maybe again utilizing one of Monolith Soft's engines. Again, the Xenoblade games are always beautiful, but those have a very anime type art style. I think that could actually work really nicely with Ocarina of Time if they decided to do that, where they go, hey, look, let's try to replicate that original artwork. But I think a lot of people, myself included, are expecting this game to be running on the Breath of the Wild engine. I don't know if I necessarily would want that. I think it really depends on like what it's going to end up looking like.
Ocarina Remake needs to stand out from the next open-air Zelda game.
I agree.
It needs to have its distinct style, especially since this is not just about Ocarina, this is about future Zelda remakes. Because we have another Hero of Time game that could also get a remake, Majora's Mask. And if the art style here looks like a downgrade from that one, then that's not going to look very good for, let's say, the reception of this game.
But I feel like generally didn't all of us like the way that Ocarina of Time 3D looked?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that was a nice cleaned up kind of version of that. So I think this is sort of a situation where we can bring Star Fox back into it too, where they are clearly doing something different, right? Like, I know there are people that are upset that they're remaking Star Fox 64 again, but it's clear, at least to me, from the very different visual style, the added cutscenes, the epic orchestrated music, that, like, this is an actual true remake. Zelda did not have that situation where the franchise died. You know what I mean? Like, there's been no moment ever where we've been worried about not getting more Zelda games, right? And so I do think there's gonna be people, when this game gets announced, that are gonna be like, oh, look at Nintendo again, reheating their leftovers, I can't believe we're getting this. But to bring it back to what you were saying, I think if they really do give it a very distinct visual identity and say, hey, look, we are remaking this. This is not just fresh coat of paint like what we got with Ocarina of Time 3D. We are doing new things. I think it would go a long way to be like, hey, let's flesh out the little ice mini dungeon before the water temple into a full-fledged dungeon. Let's give you that much rumored cut a Temple of Light, right? Temple of Time that happens in the in-between before Link becomes an adult. Like, there's a lot of things they could do to flesh out the world of Ocarina, but to me, this has to, underline, has to have an orchestrated soundtrack. If this game does not have an orchestrated soundtrack, I will actively be extremely disappointed, and I think there's going to be a lot of people who come to me for excited hype reactions that will see me crushed by the fact that this game that is so iconic, that has such a beautiful score, did not get an orchestrated soundtrack. It has to.
The thing about overhauling Ocarina is that you need to look at what is keeping it down, and one clear thing there is like the camera controls. But the other thing we also have brought up several times, Castletown needs to become sort of an open world space finally. Let us explore all the streets, let us enter all the buildings, Breath of the Wild style.
Oh, you'll explore it. You'll explore the gardens. Don't worry.
Gardens, yeah, gardens. I already worked in the garden before this recording session.
Don't need more gardens.
We are all about the inside
That's
of
it,
this
man.
channel.
Gardening, dude. That's it.
All right, I think that covers Ocarina pretty well. Question is, are we seeing the next Zelda game in this as well? A first teaser, or are they waiting with this until 2027?
They're gonna wait for sure.
I think
I don't know.
waiting as well.
Yeah, I don't even know if we're even gonna see it in 2027. I'd love to be wrong, and it is next year because, you know, movie hype. Maybe that's like by the time after the movie comes out, maybe then that'll be the right time to strike and then tease the next Zelda game. Because on one hand, now that I'm thinking about it, they do like to reveal these games way too soon. We're not gonna see the next Zelda game for a while, but maybe we do see a teaser of it next year after the movie comes out. Because I know now that Nintendo is raising the prices of the Switch 2, unfortunately. They want to give people more of a reason to invest in that hardware.
There is a 0.1 chance that maybe we see this game because of what you said, Joey, right? It was they show these very early. Like when Tears of the Kingdom was first announced, they called it the Breath of the Wild sequel, right? And it was this thing that was kept even from the Nintendo employees that were at that E3. You know, we've talked about this story before, that employees have come out and said it, that they had seen the version of the Direct that ended with Banjo-Kazooie and Smash Brothers. And so for a lot of the people working the show floor, they didn't even know that added a little bit with Tears of the Kingdom was on the end. There was a very small group, even within Nintendo, that knew that was going to be added. And so when they showed it to the press and they did everything else, they didn't show that version with Zelda until it actually happened. So I'm wondering if we see a situation like that at the end of this Direct. Again, if they do a big opener for Zelda's 40th, I think maybe to counteract, because we're going to be talking about this a lot during this discussion, you know, other remakes that are probably going to show up here. This year just seems like it's primed for remake after remake after remake, that they might want to get ahead of the conversation of, again, Nintendo's just like reheating their leftovers this year. That maybe they go, in the very top of this presentation, we talked about all of this exciting news for Zelda's 40th. The full remake of Ocarina of Time, the Zelda movie, new Zelda games and NSO, but we do have one more thing that we'd like to reveal to round out our celebration of Zelda's 40th. Please take a look at the following video and you get some type of teaser for the Zelda game, you know, with no release date, nothing at all. Just saying, like, this game is now in development with a brief teaser of potentially what it looks like running on Switch 2. I don't think that is completely out of the realm of possibility, simply because of how much remake stuff there is this year. That, again, I think they do want to not only like make the investors feel good, but like make the consumers feel good that like, hey, we know the price is going up for Switch 2 right now. We are sorry, but trust us, there is new stuff in development too.
And that's all for our Zelda-focused Nintendo Direct predictions. Tune in next time as we discuss the rest of them in another video. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and press that notification bell. Before we go, we'd like to thank our patreon.com/CommonRealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to Jonathan and our heroes, Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You rock, and please enjoy these awesome videos.